Everyone's racing to burn more AI tokens. I think that's backwards. I built a tool that does real engineering work the exact way I do and never makes me babysit it. I'm Corey Lanou, and I build real solutions for real developers. For about 6 months, I've run a stack of AI coding agents by hand. Codex, Claude, a bunch of sessions at once, strict workflows, my standards, never vibe coding, never AI slop. This is AI development for seasoned engineers, people who already have a real process, real tests, and standards they refuse to throw out. And it worked. The agents wrote good code, but I kept hitting the same wall. I'd become the bottleneck, a dozen screens, everyone with a prompt waiting on me, and I'm just spinning plates, scrambling to keep every context moving. The frustrating part, it was never an AI problem. I had all the AI I needed sitting right there. The limit was me, the context switching, trying to hold 10 workflows in my head at once. What I actually wanted was simple. Write the spec, walk away to plan the next thing, and come back only when it's time to review. So I took everything I'd learned doing this by hand, the discipline, the stages, the gates, and built one system to run all of it. I call it Detent. It's a system, not an agent. You don't chat with it. It runs your whole board and it works exactly like I would. This is the full walkthrough, start to finish. If you want the 90-second version, the short is linked below. You don't need to have seen anything else. I'm building it up from scratch right here. Let's start with the name, because it actually tells you what this does. A detent is the little catch in a mechanism that holds a moving part in place until you deliberately release it. Think about a camera dial. It clicks into each setting and holds there until you turn it again. That's the whole philosophy. Detent holds each piece of work at a stage and only lets it move when a gate passes. So what is it really? Detent is board-driven work orchestration, and it ships as a single Go binary. And the most important part, it's a system, not an agent. You don't chat with it. There's no conversation. You give it work, and it runs that work through a disciplined pipeline. The work lives where it already lives, issues on a GitHub Projects board. And the board itself is the state machine. Issues are the work. Pull requests are the deliverables. One board, one source of truth. An issue sits in to do. Detent picks it up, moves it to in progress, and an agent goes to work. When it's ready, it lands in human review. Once it's approved, it moves to merging and then done. You're basically watching a Kanban board move itself. This next part is the mindset shift, and it's the most important idea in the whole video. Stop managing agents, manage work. When you manage agents, your whole day is prompts and patience. When you manage work, your job is the spec. And a good issue is a real spec. The scope, the acceptance criteria, the tests, the review gates, the merge rules. I write that once in detail. Then I mark it ready and I walk away. Detent claims the issue, sets up an isolated workspace, and dispatches an agent against it. It runs my validation gate. It opens a pull request. It moves the card across the board. I did none of that by hand. So now my job is reviewing outcomes, not steering keystrokes. That's a completely different job. And how hands-on I am with all of this is up to me. And it's different for every project. Some projects I let the work move on its own. The gates and guardrails I set up decide when something's ready to advance. Other projects I keep a tight grip on. Nothing leaves human review until I move it to merging myself. And that's the moment I either approve it or I send it back for rework. Detent's orchestration is intentionally kind of dumb. The smarts aren't in the orchestrator. They're in the workflow I give it, so it works exactly like I would. And that phrase, manage work, not agents, isn't mine. It comes from OpenAI's Symphony. We'll get into how Detent and Symphony differ, but that's the idea everything is built on. Because once the unit of work is an issue that lands on main, instead of a chat you're tending, the whole game changes. Okay, you've heard a lot of names this year, and they're getting lumped together, but the difference between them is bigger than it looks. There are really two different kinds of thing being called an agent right now. The first one is the agent harness. It wraps a model with tools, memory, and skills so one agent can do more. But a human is still in the loop, driving the conversation and picking the next task. The unit of work is a chat. The second one is the orchestrator. It manages a board, dispatches agents on its own, and keeps the work moving until it's done. Let's do the names. Take OpenClaw. It's a genuinely great open source harness. You talk to it through Signal or Telegram. It has a skill system and it acts for you. Its creator, Peter Steinberger, recently joined OpenAI and set up a foundation around it. But at its core, it's a personal agent you chat with. Then there's Hermes Agent from Noose Research, and I mean the harness, not their language models. Same name, different thing. Hermes Agent runs on your server, wraps any model, and gets more capable the longer you use it. Both of those are harnesses. They make one agent more powerful while you babysit it. That's just not what Detent is. The closest thing to Detent is OpenAI's Symphony, and when it came out, it mirrored almost exactly what I was already doing by hand. Symphony nailed the framing. Manage work, not agents. Watch the board and keep every task assigned to a running agent until it's done. So why didn't I just use Symphony? It looked like it already did everything I wanted. A few reasons. It's written in Elixir, and the project's closed. They don't take pull requests, and they've said they won't maintain it. I write everything in Go. That's where I want to live. And Symphony is wired to linear. I'd rather be on GitHub, where my issues and my code already are. Detent can run on linear too. I'm just not dog fooding it that way. So I took the idea and shipped my own system on GitHub Projects with the discipline parts built in, isolated work trees, a real ship gate, and a serialized merge train. Symphony and Detent side by side. The framing is the same, but the form, the language, the board, and the merge discipline are all different, and that's the whole reason I built my own. And the whole landscape on one slide. Harnesses make one agent capable. Symphony named the better idea. Detent is that idea, shipped and running on my board. All right, let's get into how it actually works because the discipline is the whole point. It starts with isolation. Every issue Detent picks up gets its own Git work tree, and that's native. Detent creates the work tree, derives a branch, runs my hooks, and cleans it up. No bash glue. Now the work tree itself is native to Detent, but on its own, it doesn't give each one its own ports or its own database. That part is how I set up my project. My dev stack runs each work tree on its own ports and its own database. But put those two together, and that's the magic. Native work trees plus my isolated setup means dozens of issues run at once and never step on each other's tests or data. When an agent finishes, it doesn't just merge, it hits the validation gate. There are gate modes. The default is command-based. Command mode wants four things: a linked pull request, green CI, no priority one review findings, and a quiet period with no new activity. Or you flip it to human review, a pull request plus an approval label on the issue before anything moves. And the gate looks at the whole picture, the issue, the comments on the issue, the pull request, and the code, not just the diff. Then there's the merge train. This is the piece that makes running in parallel safe. The merging lane is locked to one at a time. Here's why. 10 agents can finish at once, and you can't have them invalidating each other's CI. So each one rebases onto a fresh main, runs a focused smoke gate, watches CI, and merges clean every time. It even records merge telemetry, the quiet window wait, the merge gate time, the CI time, the slow checks, so I can see where the time goes. Now the single most important file in the whole system, WORKFLOW.md. This is my contract, the board binding, the agent prompt, the validation gate, the merge rules, all declared in one file. So this is where my engineering discipline lives. My tests, my coverage threshold, my ship rules. Detent runs whatever I put here. The way the docs put it is the intelligence stays in your spec and the runtime supplies the discipline. That's exactly right. And it scales sideways. You can run a fleet of Detent instances across one board, each with its own scope and its own budget. So how do you actually stand this up? Now, I won't pretend this is a brand new idea. OpenClaw, for one, will walk you through a setup too, through its own program. But I think having the AI set you up is just better. It can adapt to your system, to the things you could never predict and bake into an install script. And I've got a strong feeling about this one. I want AI first for everything now. Whether it's an API I'm building or a tool I'm building, we should not be the ones reading install directions and running setups. That's the AI's job. Our job is to give the AI everything it needs to work the way we work and let it ask us the questions as it goes. Detent is built to be installed by your agent, not by you grinding through a setup docs at midnight. The prerequisites are small: the Codex CLI and the GitHub CLI authed with the right scopes. Detent itself is one self-contained binary. No runtime, no language toolchain, just the binary. Run Detent Doctor and it checks your config, your token scopes, your database, your binaries, and tells you exactly what's missing. Then the fun part: instead of configuring it yourself, you hand it to your agent. You just say, read the Detent repo and onboard this project. And it follows a runbook. First, it figures out the mode, a fresh install, an existing install, or adding a project. Then it runs through the phases 0 to 7. Preconditions, discover, interview, board, workflow, register, intake, smoke test. It discovers my stack, asks me the handful of real decisions, and creates or adopts the board. It writes my workflow file from a production template, registers the project, and runs Doctor until it's green. Then it smoke tests one issue end to end to prove the loop works before I trust it with more. You just watched a tool set itself up. That's the whole thesis. We live in an AI world, so the tool is built to be run by an AI. I mark a few issues ready and I just watch. Detent dispatches one agent per issue, each in its own work tree, all running at the same time. This dashboard is live, running agents, the board flow, token spend, rate limits, all in one place. And this is real usage, not a mock-up. Token throughput, budget status, even my GitHub for rate limit cost. Here's the reports view. Tokens by issue, by pull request, spend over time. I can see where the work and the cost actually go. Watch the merge train lane, one pull request at a time, rebasing and landing on main, exactly like we talked about. If you'd rather live in the terminal, the TUI renders the same telemetry. And when one board outgrows one worker, you run a fleet. Multiple instances, split by scope. Before all this, I was getting a lot of slop and spending a lot of time correcting it. Now there's very little rework. I'm getting almost exactly what I want. Now the question I always get, isn't this just vibe coding with extra steps? No, and here's why. Every agent is executing a detailed issue and my workflow file. It has almost no room to improvise. It's following my engineering process, my tests, my gates, my merge rules at scale while I go do something else. Before I wrap up, a quick look at what's coming. Right now, I'm building a native Kanban board into Detent. By the time you're watching this, it's probably already shipped. What that means is you can run Detent without GitHub Projects and without Linear at all. It just reads your GitHub issue statuses and drives the lanes right on the Detent dashboard. So you get the whole board, the whole flow with nothing but your repo. The other thing, Claude just walked back a change so I can use the CLI with my subscription again, which means I'll probably be adding Claude support back into Detent right alongside Codex. And the Fable model is genuinely amazing. Running a model like that inside Detent's discipline is exactly where I want to take this. So that's Detent, a system that runs my board, my workflow, and my merge train. So I manage the work and the agents do the work. It's a single go binary, it dispatches Codex, it lives on GitHub Projects, and it's built to be set up by your agent. Everything's linked below. The repo, the docs, the orchestration template, and the short if you want it. And I want to hear from you. What's the first project you'd hand to an agent to set up? Tell me in the comments. Go point your agent at the repo, let it onboard itself, and then come back and tell me how it went. I put out 2 or 3 videos a week. Real workflows, real tools, no fluff. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.